on this exalted verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet nashtaprayeshu abhatreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutaha Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kant Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 84, Text 1. Kindly repeat after me. Shri Shuka Uvacha Shrutva Prita Subalaputri Yatha Yagnaseni Madhvi Yatha Shitipa Patnya Utasa Gopya Krishne Khilatmani Haro Pranayanu Sarva Visismuralam Ashrukala Kulaksha Shrutva Prita Subalaputri Yatha Yagnaseni Madhve Yatha Shitipa Patnya Utasagopya Krishne Khilatmani Haro Pranayanu Sarva Visismuralam Ashrukala Kulaksha Shrutva Pritha Subalaputri Yatha Yagnaseni माद्वे अथ क्षितिपत्न्य उत स्वगोप्य कृष्णेऽखिलात्मनि हरौ प्रणयानुबन्धम् सर्वाविशिष्म्युरलम् अश्रुकलाकुलाक्ष श्रीशुक उवाच श्रुत्वा पिता सुबलपुत्र्यकल्याणेशी Vaishnavis. Word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhu, no, following in the footsteps of His by the disciples of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shuka Uvacha, Shukdev Goswami said, Shrutva, hearing, Pritha, Kunti, Subalaputri, Gandhari, the daughter of King Subala, Atha, and Yagnyaseni, Draupadi, Madhavi, Subhadra, Atha, and Shitipa of the kings, Patnyaha, the wives, Uta, also, Swa, Lord Krishna's own, Gopyaha, gopis, Krishne, to Krishna, Akhila, of all, Atmani, the soul, Haro, the Supreme Lord Hari, Pranaya, loving, Anubandham, attachment, Sarvaha, all of them. Visismyu became amazed. Alam, greatly. Ashrukala, with tears. Akul, filling. Akshaha, whose eyes. Translation. Shukdev Goswami said, Pritha, Gandhari, Draupadi, Subhadra, the wives of other kings, and the Lord's cowherd girlfriends were all amazed to hear of the queen's deep love for Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and soul of all beings, and their eyes filled with tears. Purport. Draupadi is the chief hearer in this assembly of exalted women, since, as explained by Srila Sridhar Swami, she had asked the question that Lord Krishna's queens answered by relating their respective stories. Since Gandhari and the other ladies named here were not even mentioned in the previous chapter as having been present, Acharya Sridhar concludes that they must have heard the queen's narration only second hand. Indeed, Draupadi would never have spoken so freely in the presence of Pritha and Gandhari, her elders, or before the gopis, whose attitude towards the queens of Dwarka was not particularly sympathetic. Even though the gopis joined in shedding tears, it was more because of their being reminded of Sri Krishna's pastimes than because of any loving affinity between them and the queens. We should remember, of course, that there is always perfect harmony on the spiritual platform. Apparent conflict between pure devotees is nothing like mundane envy and strife. The jealousy of the gopis was more show than substance, being exhibited by them as an ecstatic symptom of their overflowing love for Krishna. Srila Sridhar Swami Pad further analyzes the phrase Swagopyaha as implying that these gopis were the queen's Swaswarupa, the original prototype of whom the queens were specific expansions. So I seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas to speak something on this most exalted subject matter being discussed. 10th canto is the face of the Lord and is the most exalted of all cantos. Srimad Bhagavatam itself is most exalted of all scriptures, Amal Puran, and among the cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. And here, uh, although the Vrindavan Leela is the most intimate, but here again, as the Vrindavan Vasis are meeting Krishna in Kurukshetra, so there is a lot of intimate exchanges. So it's a very intimate subject matter, very exalted subject matter, and in that some uh, verse has been given to me by Nimai Anandpur yesterday night. So I will try to share something in my humble uh, level of hearing and realization. So uh, this is in the Kurukshetra when solar eclipse situation, the sages, Krishna, even the Vrindavan Vasis and queens of Krishna and Dwarka, all of them have arrived. Many kings have arrived for doing some ceremonies. So that time, Draupadi asks all the queens of Krishna. In the sixth verse in the previous chapter, it comes. She has asked all of them to narrate how Krishna got their hand. So very beautifully, each of their how Krishna heroically took each of their hands, each of married each one of them is very beautifully. In one verse only it is described, but elaborate pastime is also there elsewhere. So these pastimes are all very beautiful to hear. These are marriages which brahmacharis can attend, you know, because these are transcendental marriages of Prakriti with Purusha. I remember in Pune, when Pune NVCC was opened, then there was Balaji Kalyanam, there was this uh, uh, drama performed, very nice drama. Now recently we performed very much bigger one, but they had done it that time also. And I remember his guest Radha Shampoo had attended the entire drama, and it went till 12 o'clock, 12:30. I was thinking Radha Shampoo has forgotten his clock or what, But when he came back to the ashram, he was, Jai, what a drama. He was like in so much ecstasy. Because this is the ecstasy of seeing the Lord and his Shaktiman coming together. And there's great joy in the hearts of the devotees. Because this is the joy of the jivas, that Shakti and Shaktiman are together. So here the queens of the Lord are sharing how they were married to Krishna. So these are very, very divine pastimes. When I had once gone to uh, uh, Tirupati, not Tirupati, Kanchipuram. In Kanchipuram, they do marriage between Andal and Vardaraja Swami, and they do it very grand, in a very grand way on Akshaya Tritiya day. Somehow by Krishna's arrangement, 2 times some camp was arranged on Akshaya Tritiya day, and I did not know that marriage is going on there. But somehow I just went for darshan and the marriage was going on. So I got 2 times, you know, the beautiful marriage ceremony. So first the pujaris bring the garland from, you know, like the, I don't remember who first, but they bring the garland from Andal to Vardara Swami, and Vardara Swami's garland back to Andal. And then both of them go before Vishnu Chitta, and they are taking blessing from Vishnu Chitta, who is the father. And then they both are placed on Jhula, and we have this wonderful picture there of Radha Krishna. Similarly, they both are actually doing Jhula, and everyone is ecstatic. It is not requiring us to get any tinge of sense gratification to enjoy life. Everyone is blissful. Only both of the energy and the energetic, or the Supreme Lord and Shakti, are actually coming together, and the jivas are rejoicing in this marriage. So these are very uh, uh, these are things which we should try to meditate in, trying to overcome our own rasas in this world. We can come to the spiritual rasas. So here in this section, especially this verse, now it comes that the glorification of Lord, as spoken by the queens, has come to an end, and now further discussions will begin. But this verse is like the transient verse, and in that the discussion very beautifully, some important subjects are coming. One thing which I could deliberate over is that how this is Krishna Katha. To when devotees come to each other, meet each other, many times we ask also this question: How did you come to Krishna consciousness? So that's also something like how Krishna married us. Krishna took our hand. In BTG magazine, Back to Godhead magazine, there is one column. Sometimes they add this story of how I came to Krishna consciousness. So it's a very divine pastime of the Lord. Every jiva coming and becoming offered to the Lord, because it's exactly like the queens getting married to Krishna, because we also take to the Prakriti Bhav. The only Purusha is Krishna. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasava Bhritya. And we are all Prakriti. And when the Prakriti gets reinstated in loving service to the Lord, then that's actually taking the mood of, like, of course we cannot imitate rasas, the spiritual rasas of the queens of Vrindavan, queens of Dwarka. They are all already entered into the rasa. But to begin in the beginning journey as a sadhaka, when we uh, when we are trying to enter into the bhakti process, the prakriti bhav, as it gets aroused in the heart of the devotee, that's actually the one is getting married to Krishna. So also we sometimes discuss how Krishna, how preaching is happening. Prabhu, how did you do this? How, like here, so much wonderful. Every I see everywhere there is so much bustling activity. There is some new construction there, and yesterday the grand program of Shishinitai Gauranga's Brahmotsav, very bustling with activities. This temple is, so all these are Jai Shri Shinidai Gauranga ki Jai, Shri Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So, all preaching activities are also Krishna's conquering over the demons and getting hands of more jivas. There also, that's what is happening, preaching act. How we came to Krishna is because someone preached to us. So that is also Krishna's preaching. So it's basically all the preaching activities are show of Krishna's heroism, how he can conquer over all types of fellows, nonsense fellows. Some, you know, situations are seemingly, nothing, nothing can happen there. Now preaching will not go ahead. I remember in Kharagpur, one time the dosa came, Dean of Student Affairs, and took away all the boys, Sankalpa boys from the voice. You know, I was not there to witness the Leela personally, but I heard it from all the Vaishnavas here. They have been the personal witness. And then, Radhishampu was there, and then the Dean of Student Affairs had taken all the boys overnight, and we thought that it's over. And then after that, we told his guest, Kanchan Chaudhary Prabhu, we told him that you please tell the dosa that we are, don't worry, now we will not do anything and all that. So he went, but he was in his mood of, how can you stop like this? So he went and told the dosa, Dean of Student Affairs, that because of you, the good preaching work is getting stopped. And he was like, what? What has happened? Then they are planning to wind up. He said, who is the head person? You give me his number. And Radhishampur directly got a call. Hare Krishna, is this Radhe? No, no, he didn't say Hare Krishna, but is this Radhesham Das? I'm the Dean of Student Affairs, IIT Kharagpur. Radheshampu was amazed. What is going to come forward? And he said, yes, I am Radhesham Das. And then the Dean of Student Affairs said, I didn't expect this from you. You, you know, I heard that, no matter what happens, we should, preaching mission, the person who is a missionary does not think how the field is, he just goes on to preach, but you are just such a small obstacle has come and you are leaving. No, so Radheshampu already a missionary personality hearing this, no, it is like Kshatriya ka blood garam kar diya. And then he said, we want your preaching work. So much important your preaching work is. Only do in such a way that we can cooperate with you. Don't make trouble for us. So how Krishna does so many wonderful magics in different situations. Later on, Homi Baba Hall became vegetarian mess and all of us shifted there and many things. It's it's actually Krishna's Leela, you know. Everything is going on by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's plan. So many wonderful activities. We can, whenever we hear how preaching work is going on in ISKCON, it just astonishes us and it also brings us great joy. It's all Krishna Leela, how Krishna is conquering over the Jiva's hearts and taking us back to Godhead. So it's Krishna's compassion, victory over the demonic forces. Like one time, as soon as Radhanath Maharaj was wanting to preach in one university. And when he was trying to preach in this university in America, so they told that you have to meet this professor. He is the head of the Department of Religion. And if you convince him, you can preach. But to convince him was very difficult because when many years before, one time the devotees had come to preach there, and this professor had been debated with by a devotee, and there was it was a public debate, and the professor was humiliated by this devotee, and all the students had laughed upon him. So after that, his ego was so hurt that he didn't ever want to give Hare Krishna fellows permission for preaching. And then, devotees did not try, but now Maharaj was trying. So Maharaj would go every day, give some Mahaprasad and all that. After months of preaching, finally, one day he said that, okay, I will come to your place in New Vrindavan with my students. So he had come with all his students to New Vrindavan, and that day was Bahulashtami. So there are cows in Bahulashtami, they bring into the temple. So the cows were standing in the temple, and this professor was in suit, boot, coat, tie, come with all, like special dress. and devotees were dancing and all that, and it was going on well. And then, as cows have their own special lila, so the cow who was in front of this professor, she just had her, she passed her, cow dung, and it was like it just dropped in front of him and it splashed over his entire body, and it was hot, liquidy, nicely. It just drenched him, and guess what? All the students laughed. And then he was just, you Hare Krishnas have again. So Maharaj was feeling, my God, after so many months of my endeavor, and I think it's all spoiled now. Anyway, he thought I will visit him later. He went back, this professor. But after some days, he calls and he says, he tells Maharaj that I think that humiliation which I faced, I needed it. Krishna wanted to humble me. So that's why I got that humiliation. So you can come and preach in my college. So Maharaj was saying, this is the power of Mahaprasadam. So when we hear such wonderful pastimes, it's all Krishna conquering over the world. We can't imagine that professor will react this way to cow, first, debate. Debate, the devotee was involved, but now cow is innocent. Now cow did not try to, you know, evoke the false ego of the. So when cow did it, he melted. So it's very nice. So how Krishna will act is amazing. So so this is actually very nice. So when we see in the uh, situation of when we see the great souls today, they are very much excited to hear preaching Leela also, not just the Madhurya Leela. Sometimes devotees think that we should get into Madhurya Ras so much that, this preaching mission, organization, this is too much. But I see all the great souls, they see them together. They don't ever see it separate. They are together. So because they are just the Madhurya Leela and the Adarya Leela are very intertwined with each other. The same feelings of prema for Lord Krishna comes as compassion for all the jivas, and they feel the ecstasy when the gopis are singing Gopi Geet. In the most intimate moments, they are singing Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavi Viridhitam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Bhurida Jana. So they are singing that your katha is like Amrit on our Tapta Jivanam, and it is full of spiritual power. It is all auspicious. It removes all the kalmash. And then they are saying that those broad-minded, great souls who spread this wisdom to the whole world, oh, they're Bhurida Jana, they're Bhurida. So if you see this pastime, Bhuvi Grinanti. So Bhuvi means Prithvi. The one who did it is Srila Prabhupada. You know. So in the moments of the ecstatic Madhurya Ras, in the moods of separation, Vipralamba Bhav, in the middle of it, they're talking about preaching. You know. So it's very intertwined. And they are remembering Srila Prabhupada. You know. So they are remembering Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is that personality who did it. And if you see, when King Pratap is speaking, is singing these verses for Lord Chaitanya while massaging his lotus feet, again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stops at this verse and he says, Bhurida Jana, Bhurida Jana. So he also gets special ecstasy in this verse. So this is the mood of the Vaishnavas, if you see, all the great souls. So they do it together. They relish the most intimate rasas of Vrindavan, and at the same time want to share it with the entire world through the Adarya Bhav of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Another important subject matter that can be discussed here is about how there are many relationship-based rasa is being discussed in the purport. So one of the principle which is coming out is that Draupadi would not have spoken this in the presence of Gandhari, Kunti, and the gopis, because Gandhari and Kunti happen to be elderly. So among equals there is some one type of rasa. But if there is an elder personality, then there's not so much freeness to talk on the same in the same way among the equals. So she would not have spoken like that. And gopis are there. If go if gopis were there in the presence, so then also she would not have spoken so openly, because gopis have a little different feeling towards the queens, because Krishna has left the Vrindavan Dham and come here, and they always feel that these queens have taken our Krishna. You know? So there is a different mood. So because they are not present, that's why this free exchange of experience of the queens of Dwarka is going on. So it shares it. These kind of practical etiquettes are also mentioned about. Something also very nicely brought about here is that she shares that uh, you know they're crying tears. So by hearing about how Krishna has shown mercy to a devotee, and how devotee has so much love for Krishna, other devotees also feel greatly touched and cry tears. That this devotee is so blessed with Bhakti Devi, so much blessed. So that is the mood in the devotee sangha. The intimate moods of the queens and the gopis feeling a transcendental sense of envy that is beyond my adhikar to discuss. The queens are here. Prabhupada or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is mentioning something. I'll just read it, and then I like to bring a little different subject. We should remember, of course, that there is always perfect harmony on the spiritual platform. Apparent conflict between pure devotees is nothing like mundane envy and strife. The jealousy of the gopis was more show than substance, being exhibited by them as an ecstatic symptom of their overflowing love for Krishna. So there is no actual envy. The envy is only a show, which only brings, it comes out of ecstatic prema. So these kind of moods may not be easy to access at the stage of a sadhaka, because unless we have entered spiritual rasas, they're actually, these devotees are crying tears, sharing their ecstasies, and they're already into the rasas with the Lord. Queens are experiencing the Swakiya Bhav, and the gopis are experiencing Parakiya Bhav, and all those rasas are getting enabled in different moods that come in those rasas, those particular relationships. So, as a sadhaka, the moods that can be accessed and will allow us eventually an entry into any of these rasas is the mood of Sharnagati. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written many wonderful songs on the Sharnagati principles, six as enumerated by Srila Rupa Goswami. So those moods are very conducive for us to work on as a sadhaka, and that is within the adhikar of a devotee. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Jaiva Dharma, there are six principles of Sharnagati. आनुकूल्यस्य संकल्प प्रातिकूल्यस्य वर्जनम रक्षिष्यतीति विश्वासो गोपतत्वे वर्णम तथा आत्मनिक्षेपकारपण्य षड्विधा शरणागति. Anukulya sankalpa. Do whatever is right thing to do for pleasing Krishna with great delight. And pratikulya varjanam. Whatever is displeasing to Krishna, unfavorable to Krishna consciousness, one should reject it with great disgust. Atmanikshe, no, Gopat, sorry, Rakshishiti the Vishwaso. Krishna will protect me. Krishna can protect me. Krishna will protect me. This unflinching faith. And Goputrutve Varnam, he is my maintainer. Krishna is my maintainer. And Atmanikshepa, I offer everything, my body, mind, and words in his service. And Karpanya, a meekness, and sense of meekness, sense of humility, feeling of I am pitiable. Oh Lord, you be merciful on me. So all these six principles, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur shares that with these moods, if we chant, then our chanting will be more potent. And he even brings five moods out of these six moods. first to Anukulyasya Sankalpa and Pratikulyasya Varjanam, he gives the mood of determination. I will do whatever is pleasing to Krishna. And then the next one about Rakshishiti Vishwaso is his trust in Krishna. Krishna, I trust you. And Goptutva Varnam, Krishna, I depend on you. The sense of complete dependence. I am fully dependent on you, like a child dependent on the mother. And Atmanik Shepa is about submitting oneself, submitting in the sense of giving oneself fully through his body, mind, and words in the service of Krishna. And meekness is also meekness here. That is so these are the five sentences. Basically combines the Anukulyasya Sankalpa and Pratikulyasya Varjanam in form of the mood of determination to do whatever pleases Krishna and not to do ever anything which will displease Krishna. So he has also written songs, Sharanagati songs. So recently we had attended a Japa retreat program in Govardhan Retreat Center at Govardhan. So there His Holiness Bhakti Vigyan Goswami Maharaj was bringing about these principles and was sharing that actually the songs are written because songs can very easily evoke emotions. And with emotions, and then when we enter into our devotional activities, especially the hearing and chanting process, then the chanting becomes very potent. So he said that sometimes devotees are chanting Hare Krishna, but they're emotionally lazy. Emotionally lazy means they don't involve their moods in trying to chant. They don't have a meaning being carried forward as a mood. Like Prabhupada gave a very simple meaning to the chanting of the holy name as that, O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. So these moods of Sharanagati are something that is within our adhikar to work upon. And as we get these moods in our heart through our activities, then the bhakti process becomes very potent. Otherwise, there may be bhakti activities, but the bhakti activities, if we see this beautiful song of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, Atyanta durlabha prema kori bare dan sikhaye sharanagati bhakatera pran. So he says that the Lord has come to give us prema, atyanta durlabha prema, not just ordinary prema, but vraja prema, koribare dan. But he did not teach prema, he taught Sharanagati. So prema cannot be taught, prema will receive prema when we learn Sharanagati. Sikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Pran. So the, the pran of bhakti is Sharanagati. And later in the song it also says, Shada Anga Sharanagati Hoibe Jahar Tahara Prarthana Shune Shri Nanda Kumar. So that is why the moods of Sharanagati are very important to think about, meditate upon, not only in chanting and hearing, but in all aspects of our life. Are we, like if we are doing some service, what is our mood? What is our mood with our superiors, with our spiritual masters? What is our mood towards holy name, Srimad Bhagavatam, the deities? What is our mood in every situation of life? How we deal with situations when some other devotee is going through difficulties? Are we in the mood of a loving servant, in the moods of Sharanagati? So actually in every situation, if we can properly understand the moods, then that activity will bring much more fruit, because the limbs of bhakti in and itself do not get offered to Krishna without being fixed in Sharanagati. First, when we surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna, after that the bhakti limbs become offered to Krishna at his lotus feet. So that is why the principles of Sharanagati are very beautifully elucidated by the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where he has brought many, many songs on each of the uh, limbs of Sharanagati. And those meditations are very conducive to one day we may get access to these divine leelas in the real sense. Although we may hear it and we can rejoice in it in terms of how they are so much deeply in love with Krishna and they always want to talk about Krishna. And they are always enriched with loving sentiments for Krishna. Those sentiments, how gopis are feeling and how queens are feeling and why there is apparent envy, it's not workable to understand on an intellectual platform, because unless the person has come to the platform of soul, unless the person has come to the platform of understanding his own position as a servant of Krishna, he cannot access these internal rasas. So, in the end of this song, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that Kandiya Kandiya bole ami to adham sikhaya sharnagati karoho uttam. So the sharnagati is the flipping point where someone who is adham can become uttam because he has taken full shelter. After that, the process of bhakti, the bhakti rasas can enter our hearts much more substantially. So I seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas here, that I can also work on my life to become a Sharnagat Bhakta of Lord Shri Krishna, following in the footsteps of all these great souls like Srila Prabhupada and the wonderful Vaishnavas he has blessed us with, the Sangha. One more just point. Uh, the song says, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kori Soparshada Swiyadhama Sahavatari. So the Lord came with all his divine devotees associates to teach us Sharanagati. However, there's a beautiful thing which has happened in ISKCON movement. When Srila Prabhupada was on the planet, Srila Prabhupada organized this organization. And to do bhakti in a movement, in an organization, and to remain Sharnagat in every situation has its own new nuances, which the Parshadas of Srila Prabhupada in the next generation have helped us to learn. And then, if we can follow in their footsteps, then we will also become properly Sharnagat Bhakta of Srila Prabhupada and live in this movement which Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has started through his Senapati Bhakta as a Sharnagat Bhakt. And then we will become, and we will enter the internal leelas of the Lord. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The 5 minutes, Prabhuji, you can give some corrections, Prabhuji, comments. Prabhuji. Anyone else wants to any correction, comment? Okay. Any question? Okay, there two devotees have raised hand. Is there a mic, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, bro. You were telling that unless the Sarnagati is there, the bhakti activities are not offered to the Lord. Maybe something to that extent. So, any reference or something is it based on? Like
Sorry?
you might have heard it somewhere, like
Yeah, I
some
heard this
reference
from
for it.
SKS Kamalochan Prabhu. He was telling this point. And, sorry, Prabhu. Yeah, Bhakatera Pran. You want to say something? Shadanga Sharnagati Hoibe Jar Tahara Prarthana Sune Shri Nanda Kumar. Yeah. So uh, I don't have a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam where it comes, but if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, many places you will see the there is a place where it in the second canto which says even a tiryak, even an animal can be delivered by bhakti, but the condition is surrender to the pure devotee of the Lord. You know, Prabhupada also writes the purport very beautifully there. I can show you the verse. So, like that, there are many sections of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna is asking for Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishami. So, this principle of Sharanagati, if you read different acharyas, all the acharyas will very much emphasize on the principle of Sharanagati. Sharanagati is a very important principle. We cannot say that we can evade it. But one important thing you may be considering, that are we not then doing any bhakti if we have not become Sharanagati? It's not like 0-1, Prabhu. We are working on becoming more and more Sharnagat. According to our intensity of the purity of the Shraddha and the intensity of the Shraddha, we do Sharnagati. The Shraddha is, when the Sharnagati becomes completely pure, then we will fully surrender to Krishna. So it's not like 0, 1. For example, we are chanting 16 rounds. That is actually according to the desire of Srila Prabhupada. So we are doing Sharanagati only. It's not like we are following our plan. But we may have our plan also. And that time we may not be Sharanagat. So we are like in between. We are not fully Sharanagat. So maybe you are, but I'm just giving a general answer. Okay?
What is the last point you told? You told na that in ISKCON,
I told this point. Just like Lord Chaitanya came with his associates like Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and all many. So they taught Sharanagati principle. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself did not teach everything. He taught it through his associates also. And similarly, when Srila Prabhupada came, he also came with many associates of his. And all of them have shown how they are lovingly cooperating with each other. They are together in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. When Gaudiya Math could not sustain through the difficult time after the founder Acharya Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So the mood of Sharanagati in an organization becomes a very, sometimes people think that I can individually offer my bhakti to Guru. That is easier. But in an organization, there is loving cooperation with many other Guru's disciples also, and at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada as the founder Acharya. So there is a very special connotation to the Sharanagati principle when we work together as a mission in one organization. So this thing Prabhupada could not have taught us because Prabhupada was the founder Acharya. But Prabhupada's disciples taught us through their example because they have to teach how to love and cooperate with each other for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. So that's what I was sharing. They wanted to surrender. They had their own personal feelings, but they surrendered that. They subdued sometimes those feelings, seeing what will be good to keep together the movement. So this is also a very important principle of surrender. If you want to show your love for me, you have to cooperate with that love. If we are surrendered to the Guru, then that surrender should come in form of this loving cooperation. So that way, organizational situation gives us a special situation of surrender to the movement, to the Guru. So I think
one last thing. Somehow I had the doubt that generally, like I had understanding that Sharanagati means surrendering means just following the order of superiors. But here, like we see that these are the 6 limbs of Sharanagati. So how that is connected with this, that is this a complete definition that just surrendering to the order of superiors, or like how it is connected to these 6 limbs, these two definitions, or are they same or different, or how they are?
see when we say anukulya se sankalpa. So when we hear from our superiors with faith, then we come to know what Krishna would like us to do. And if we surrender with faith, that is great. So that is Anukula Sankalpa. But sometimes devotees, like suppose some devotee says that Prabhu, you take up this job for the preaching mission. And when during that job he faces some difficulty, then he says, Prabhuji, what is this? Why is this happening? That means he has not got Rakshishiti Vishwaso there. He is not able to live with that part of the Sharnagati. He is just taking Anukula Sankalpa without having Rakshishiti Vishwaso maturely enabled in his heart. So some devotee may be sent to some uh, of course no, I was going to say God forsaken place, but there is no place which is God forsaken. But some place which God does not want to forsake, he wants to send his devotee there, and there he has to bring his mission. So he's at the mercy of Krishna only to be maintained, na? But sometimes devotee may feel कि कहाँ भेज दिया मेरे गुरु ने. That means the order is there, but he has not developed the other limbs of devotion service properly. So the all 6 limbs together make the proper mood of taking even that order properly. Otherwise, we may have, like, another is meekness. Someone may be doing a lot for the Guru's order and then saying, I am doing so much. See, then that is defeating the karpanya feeling, right? So together the six moods have a very beautiful ambience in the heart where bhakti lata grows. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Hare Krishna.